The charges didn't come for 2 years after the arrest. How do I exercise my right to a speedy trial if I don't know I'm going to be tried?
When this defendant was charged years after his arrest without even knowing about the case, the judge called out the prosecution and dismissed everything.
He was arrested in May of 2015. The blood test came back in June of 2015, so the case was ready. There was no reason why the case wasn't ready to go, but he wasn't charged until November of 2017. He didn't know that there was anything going on, and he moved to Florida, so he didn't have any contact with court. I mean, to me, this is a classic case of why we have a requirement to move forward, and why we don't move forward on these cases in Wayne County. I don't know. I don't see this in other counties. I'm not an expert.
Right.
That's my hypothesis.
Okay, fair enough.
The defendant failed to appear for his arraignment at that time in 2017.
Hold on, stop. When was there an arraignment scheduled?
Under People's Exhibit number.
Okay, arraignment pretrial scheduled November of 2017.
Yes.
Mr. Gagosian, when did you move to Florida?
So we started moving at the end of 2016, and we had transitioned everything over by February of 2017.
So yeah, there was no evidence presented by the defendants or the defense to demonstrate that there was a move at that time.
Well, you just heard the evidence. That's evidence. That's testimony. That's evidence.
I understand. So people's position that the defendant has a ongoing duty to update the court's name.
Hold on. How could he have an ongoing duty to update the court when he didn't even know the court had a case?
Our position based off of the facts, and the facts in this case, specifically the register of action, indicates that notice of here was sent to the last known address. So we have to presume that notice was provided. I understand it's his position that he moved prior to that date. However, I believe we need more than just his testimony.
But be careful though, because before you walk yourself into a corner, because are you saying that if the defense can document that his residence had been permanently established in Florida before November of 2017, you're going to withdraw your objections?
It's not that I'm going to withdraw my objection. I think it's going to go to one, his credibility, and another additional factor the court can consider in making its determination. I'm not saying that's the standalone thing. The most important factors is whether or not the defendant asserted their right to a speedy trial. And in this specific case, when reviewing the facts, there is a failure for the defendant to assert his right in this case.
But he can't. But Mr. Muhammad, he can't assert his right to a speedy trial until he knows he's been charged, and the charges didn't come for 2 years after the arrest. How do I exercise my right to a speedy trial if I don't know I'm going to be tried? Well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm a firm believer that bad behavior has to hurt or bad behavior continues. And I agree with Mr. Duncan. This is not an unusual problem out of the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office, especially on drunk